Hello, I'm Barbara Lapani, the President of the Blue Mountains Creative Arts Network, and we're delighted to be working with Janelle Randall Court on a project that she brought to us as an idea. And then we went to Wentworth Health as part of their grant scheme to fund recovery from the bushfires. And we're very grateful for their support that's enabling us to roll out this project. Now, Janelle, what made you think about working on waste through art as part of the community recovery and well-being?
I guess what came out of, satisfying the funding really, and as artists, we, for the most part, rely on that sort of support to get projects up and running, particularly for community. That's, having that support is crucial sometimes. And the funding was to bring about recovery and supporting community after the 2019-20 bushfires. And as we know, our broader community here in the Blue Mountains was so heavily impacted by the fires that we still carry some of that anxiety, and we're still recovering, financially or emotionally, So this project is about supporting the broader Blue Mountains community, and what better way to bring people together to help on that journey of recovery than through art. And we've also got the pleasure of having Samara Kendall, who is a brilliant print artist, and she'll also be facilitating some of the workshops, and having her on board is just absolutely wonderful, because what she'll bring to the project as well. But she's said a wonderful phrase, that art heals.
Yeah.
And I love that, because it's how I heal through my artwork as well. Telling a story and conveying a message that, I might not be able to articulate, but I can say something in my artwork.
Thank you.
My name's Stevie Lapani. This is my work for the workshop. I've designed a house penis. It's Wonderland themed and Queen of Hearts. The thing that is, at first I thought I was going to make a trap thing.
Right.
At first, but then I installed this tree because I liked it into the canvas after I gave it a slight green paint. And I thought it's unusual that there's crystals on it. So what else is unusual that will fit in it? And I thought, Wonderland. So I made it the Queen of Hearts. This was originally going to be a castle, but it's the house. And this is bubble wrap that I installed because I can.
You can. It's beautiful. And
then I tried to make the Queen of Hearts, a picture of her.
A picture of her, actually, the Queen of Hearts.
Her
face. Her face. Fantastic. And is this a door at the front, Stevie? Or how do you look into the? Is it a castle? Because she's a queen.
It was originally going to be a castle, but now it's a house. I made a door, but when we installed, because what we did was, let me take this. So we sticky taped the thing in this, but when we did this, we had to sticky tape it and push it through. So when I made the door and I pushed it through, I made it a tiny one. So when we pushed it through, it became so tiny you can't see it.
Yeah. So I noticed, when you were putting your piece together, there was a little bit of problem solving, because you had a bit of a vision, but you weren't quite sure how you were going to achieve that. So you had a bit of help, but you've pulled it off. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. So what are all these pieces? Like we talked about the project when we first started. Can you just explain to Brad where all these bits and pieces have come from? What are they? Did we buy them brand new, or?
Well, these bits look like they were new or something from the shed. Something because they got it from sheds and stuff and cycle. So by the way things look, these might be a bit new, like no one's opened them or touched them. And this is probably an antique that someone didn't want. And someone didn't want some cards, so we cut out the little hearts and put them.
These are from playing cards. The hearts are from the playing cards. Is that right? Wow.
Hearts.
Yep.
And yeah.
That's great. So from rubbish and waste, you've made this incredible
Yeah.
scene.
And this canvas was originally a snowman. You can sort of see that. I just gave it a light coverage of green. Nobody really noticed. But it was a snowman at first, and then I just painted a bit with some green paint. And I didn't really add a lot because that would take a long time to dry. So I just did a quick coverage and nobody really noticed.
No, that's right. It's beautiful, Stevie. Thank you so much for sharing. Have you had a good fun day today?
Yes.
Working with the waste and creating a new story. Thank you for coming. Thanks, Brad.
Bye.
See you next time. Okay, for the next one. Well, we've got Ivy here to show us her amazing work here at the Reimagine Waste to Art project. Ivy, thank you so much for coming. You've come from Sydney for this workshop. How did you find out about the workshop?
Well, my mom saw it online and she was like, hey, do you guys want to go do craft? And we were both like, sure.
Uh-huh.
And this is like on the way to go visit a family member, so it's perfect.
It's perfect. And we had a bit of a discussion about like the idea of why we set up this project, that it was really kind of about recovering from the 2019-20 fires, bushfires, and as a community, we're all coming together to talk about recovery, renewal, and what are the things that we're using? What do all these bits and pieces come from? Can you explain to Brad?
So I'm pretty sure the wall bits come from a kid's counting set. Because as you can see, this one has like numbers and various cartoon aliens.
Yep.
I also used baubles, and I found a tiny ball that looked like planet Earth, so I used that. The rest of it, I used mostly paint and leftover corks and bone tops and like medicine pots.
Were you inspired before you came here to do something like this, or did you just sort of like look at all the rubbish that we've got and then it just came to you?
Yeah. It came to me first when I saw like the wall
Yeah.
pieces, and when my mom showed me the little ball that looked like Earth, so I thought, hey, I'll make something about space.
It's fantastic, and I love the idea that you're kind of looking into this work. Hey, so when it dries, I guess, you could sort of stand it up,
Yeah.
couldn't you? And what about this piece? What's this piece all about? Do you want to hold it, maybe hold it up or something? I'll move out of your way.
This one is basically about how waste is affecting the ocean.
Oh.
So I've got like little bits of scraps all glued onto it, which basically represent rubbish, but I wanted to keep within the blue theme, so I just grabbed blue pieces of fabric, cut them up and stuck them on. For the rest of it, I used paint and a golden drink cap as the sun.
Beautiful. Has this one, even though it's about like plastics and stuff like that, is there a bit of a message in there that, you know, a positive message that we can sort of take from that as well?
Yeah, it's that basically the oceans are beautiful, but they're full of rubbish, which we need to stop.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about that earlier, didn't we? About our responsibility. What are some of the things that we can change so that the plastics don't end up in the ocean?
The most important thing is definitely don't litter. Also recycling a lot, because lots of landfill goes to rubbish dumps that are just sitting in the ocean, which is bad for the ocean, turtles, basically any ocean or even land animals.
And we've got a relationship too as humans with the ocean as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And what about this one, darling? Have you got like a name for your works?
Yes, I actually thought of a name for this one. I call it Inner Space.
Inner.
It's like outer space, but it's inside a box.
Oh,
It's
that's
inner
awesome.
space.
I love it. And what about this one? Because this is a bit more sort of a serious type of work. So what's your message there? It's got a name.
I haven't thought of a name yet.
Okay. Yep, sometimes it comes later, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, darling, thank you so much for sharing. Your work is beautiful. Congratulations. And I can't wait to see the photos for the online exhibition.
Oh yeah.
All right. So say goodbye to Brad.
Goodbye, Brad.
Thank you for coming. Okay. Well, here we are in Lawson for Reimagine, and we've got some very special guests here today. One of our special guests is Matilda. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. Are you a local? Are you from the mountains?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're very familiar with the local area?
Not really Lawson.
Menikatuba. Okay. And you heard about the Reimagine workshops from Mum? Did Mum find out about the workshops? Yeah. And did that sort of pique an interest with you because it was about waste and art and craft?
I like just making things out of rubbish.
Yeah. And how much stuff do you, how often do you do that at home? Do you
Not
create
very
stuff?
often. Because somebody always says I have to throw it out when I get home.
Okay. And is that easy for you or hard for you? Do you feel like you can kind of just keep making things because it hasn't cost you a lot of money? And so, you're happy to just get rid of stuff and then make more? Yeah. That's a kind of good way to look at it, isn't it? So when you came here and I discussed the fact that the project is about looking at what happened here with the fires in the Blue Mountains and also bringing people together. Do you think this is a really good idea, bringing young people and kids together to hang out and yarn and make things?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Good. And what about the materials you've used? These are your incredible, what would you call them, sculptures?
I don't know.
No? Okay. Would you like to sort of explain to Brad what you've made here?
Well, first I just found those wooden blocks and I started making a staircase. Then I put it around those two, and then I colored the staircase to match the colors and then switched up to make a pattern.
Connected, is it?
Yeah.
And this central little figure here, the beautiful duck with the high heels. Do you want to explain how you put that all together?
Well, I started making this necklace thing out of feathers and all kinds of
Beautiful.
string, and then I just put it aside to dry.
Mm-hmm.
Then I found a rubber dog, started decorating it with high heels,
Of course.
the handbag that's here.
I've just got a handbag.
And,
She's very clever.
and then put the necklace on her arm
Mm-hmm.
to make a little bit of feathers or pancake. Yeah. And then I thought making it on a duck.
Yes.
So
And you've used lots of different materials, haven't you? So how have we put the stairs together? We've just used a bit of PVA glue.
and
Yep.
wooden blocks.
Wooden blocks. So paint, you've used some paint. It really paints.
Just old toys, paints, books, feathers, quarter cups, cardboard.
Yep. And do you know where I got all that stuff from? From the tip. And people giving me stuff that would otherwise go into the bin, and sent to landfill. So what's the message, do you think, if you were to look down the camera and say to other kids, come along to the next workshop because this is really cool? Have you got a message about if we don't look after waste at home, in our national parks, in our school grounds, what kind of impact might all this sort of rubbish have on our environment?
Well, animals could think it's good and choke on it, and then lots of species would die out.
Yeah. So it sounds like we've got a bit of a responsibility, to look after the place and look after our home and stuff. But we can have fun too with it,
But if I try to pick this up, it would break straight away.
Yeah, so we might have to sort of nurse it very carefully on the way home. But you know what? Thank you for coming today. It's been a pleasure having you and great talking to you about rubbish and waste and being creative. So thanks for coming. Thank you. See ya. See you next time. Okay, so as you can see here at the Reimagine workshops, we supply bits and pieces of everything. So I've collected heaps of, waste from home myself. And again, I, access the Katoomba reuse shed and Blackson reuse shed and collect all these little bits and pieces. But, the fantastic thing about having the grant and running the programs means that we get help with, all the other technical stuff, the paintbrushes and the bits and pieces that we need to put these beautiful works together. I want to take you around the group and just have a look at some of these incredible works. Now, not everybody wants to be on camera, but I'm sure they're happy to show off their works. And you can see here that, we're applying different materials, some softer kind of materials. We're putting them together with glue, or we might be stapling, nailing. But have a look at this stuff. Look at this wire work, isn't it incredible? And all these little bits and pieces collected from, the tip. That all these pieces could otherwise end up in landfill. So how incredible. And this gorgeous piece over here. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if there's something we can do, because I'd love you to secure it before you go.
Oh, I've got stuff at home.
Yeah, you've got stuff at home, you can put that together. Good. Has anyone got a theme? Like, is there something somebody else wants to say about their work? Maybe what it's meant to you in terms of the fires, renewal maybe? Has it got that story, or is it something completely different today? This one's extra special. Have a look at these leaves, the size of these young leaves. This is from a tree in Mount Victoria, and I've always been fascinated. I'm going to have to get keyed out and find out what eucalypt it is. Mm-hmm. But these incredibly large leaves, and I've kept them for quite a while, so it's lovely for you to use them. Yeah. It's just beautiful. Yeah. And I love the thing that, participants sometimes say, oh, look, I'm not an artist, I haven't got a clue, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not really good at it, and then they end up creating stuff like this. So that's the beauty of hanging out together and just playing, really, just enjoying each other's company and having fun. Hello, welcome back to the Reimagine Waste to Art workshops. We're here at the Gang Gallery in beautiful Lithgow today for the workshop, and I'm meeting some wonderful locals, very talented people. We've almost come to the end of the workshop today, so I'd like to take some time to actually have a yarn with the artists and ask them about your inspiration for your works. Now, this is Tim. Welcome, Tim. Lovely to have you. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Well, as you know, we started off talking about fire recovery, this project coming out of a grant that was about bringing people back together, community back together after the fires. And obviously, I've used my passion talking about waste and rubbish, and it's something that we can all recognise, we're all looking at nowadays a bit more, taking seriously. So we've used lots of bits of rubbish and waste and creating some beautiful pieces. Can I ask you about your inspiration, and are you using any rubbish or waste or bits and pieces in your work?
Yes, all of these bits and pieces here are waste, so I probably would have thrown them in the bin. Okay. Or possibly burnt them. Mm-hmm.
And what is it, plywood?
Yeah, this is plywood. Yeah. These are like, these are offcuts for the work I'm doing, which is creating kind of like three-dimensional layered pieces out of plywood, which give three dimension and depth.
Yeah, I've seen some of your work. Incredible.
It's very exciting to produce, and But I don't know, I'm from this family that just like absolutely hates waste. My father was quite crazy about it. I don't know, maybe it could be a Welsh thing or Irish thing, I don't know, but...
Thank you, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you
and
too,
yeah, see you at the next workshop, hopefully.
Brilliant. Thank you. See ya.